After the hour of 8 o'clock. I mean, do we have a show for you tonight, or do we have a show for you tonight? I want to tell you, whatever you've got planned, cancel it, because tonight is the night. Oh, my God, what a show we have planned for you. And if you believe that, I'll tell you something else, too. A very good evening to you. Lassiter with you until 11, as I am every weeknight right here at News Talk 57 WPLP. For this Tuesday, April 28th, 1987. You thought I wasn't going to tell you, didn't you? But I forgot to mention the day and the date. Well, I didn't. By the way, don't forget every 4th or 5th Saturday. And this coming Saturday is one of those 4th or 5th Saturdays, 9 until noon. That will be exciting. That will be a very exciting show because I will have virtually no sleep whatsoever. And you just can't imagine how mean and testy I can be on about 4 hours worth of sleep, which in my book is no sleep whatsoever. What we are going to do tonight is we are going to have genuine open conversation. Genuine open phones. From now until 11 o'clock, 3 hours of stimulating conversation. 3 hours of addressing the issues. 3 hours of intellectual exchange. It will be fantastic. I just know in my heart that it will be absolutely great because everybody knows I have the best audience in Tampa Bay, the most eloquent, the best educated. And it will just be great. I know in my heart it will. And any time now we'll be taking the first call. Any time now. And it will just be it'll kind of set the tone for the whole program, and we'll be off and running, and it will be fantastic. You might want to, set up the tape recorder, call Aunt Mary, whatever it takes, because it will be just great as the loyal legion of Lassiter followers jump to it, and oh my goodness, the Van Ortner is starting to twinkle already. Oh, this is great. Oh my goodness, either 3 hate calls or 3 serious calls. While we're waiting for the calls to line up there, let me take a moment out and say how very, very sorry I feel for Jim and Tammy, who today lost a $30,769.23 a week job. It's a real tragedy what is going on with the PTL Club. It breaks my heart, as I know it breaks yours. Do you believe Jerry doing a 180? Jerry Falwell did a 180. Yesterday he was hinting that he was quitting. This morning he says, no way, I'm staying. You ain't getting rid of me. No how, Baker. Oh, marvelous. In any event, now we have virtually a full board, just one line open. This is going to be a great evening. Pinellas, 393-0057, and we'll get right down to business. Hi, Clearwater, you're on the air, WPLP.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, you said something against Jerry Falwell.
Yes.
Is this correct? Are we talking together?
What's that, sir?
Are we? We're on the phone now.
Yes, I believe we are.
Okay. Well, Mr. Jerry Falwell is going to be like a Liakoa for all of the Liakoka for the whole Christian community.
Really?
He's going to end up as the Pope of all of the American Protestants.
You really think so?
Oh, sure.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because there's too much at stake here.
Well, sir, there's one minor little thing that you're forgetting.
What's that?
And that is that it takes a very strong personality, because all television religion is a personality cult. It takes a very strong personality, of which PTL does not have one.
Oh, no, PTL doesn't have
one. And if
one.
PTL were to get a strong personality, that person would try to take over the ministry.
Oh, no. But Jerry Falwell now has come in as Liakoa to Chrysler Corporation. He's coming in there.
What, do you think he's going to try to get government loans?
No, they don't need government loans, obviously.
Obviously, they're $50 million in debt, sir. They're in tragic, terrible trouble.
Debt? Well, if they're in debt, Jerry Falwell will straighten them out. Or the guy that, you mean...
What are you drinking?
How many $1 million? How many $1 million are they in debt?
My God, crack cocaine has come to the retirement homes.
You know, how many millions are they in debt?
50, sir. 50.
50.
The big 50.
This guy down at Oklahoma City got $8 million in about 6 weeks.
But, sir, there is no one left at PTL. And there's nobody left but the Happy Goodmans. Nobody who's going to send money to the Happy Goodmans.
Well, PTL...
Howard and Vestal Goodman?
Incidentally, I want to identify myself. I'm a druid.
A druid?
Right. I am not a
retirement home.
I'm only looking at this thing from the standpoint of... let me see how I can say this in the fact that you're on one end of the stick and they're on the other, and I'm in the middle. And I see the thing that has disturbed me so much as a taxpayer, that people who have sent money in that can't afford it to these organizations, if I'm going to put it that way, suddenly become a little bit dependent upon the state and the...
But, sir, this is America. You're allowed to be as stupid with your money as you want to be.
Oh, however, I object when people get so stupid to give it away to people that can't use it appropriately. I think that I become involved in the fact that if these young ladies, when I say young ladies, quote unquote.
Sir, where is your compassion? Where is your compassion?
Oh,
Jim and Tammy just lost $30,769.23 a week. Where are they going to get a gig like that? I mean, they probably pay a little bit better than $3.35 out there at the Palm Springs McDonald's. But, I mean, my goodness, even with the two of them work, if they send all the kids out to work, too, they're not going to clear $30,000 a week.
Lassiter, since you mentioned that, I understand that they reduced their rates 1/2.
Oh, the hotel.
Yeah, the hotel.
Right, at Heritage.
And you do have impact. You do have impact.
I don't really think I had anything to do with that.
Ever since you mentioned that, they reduced the rates 1/2. I've never been there.
Well, that is an interesting point you brought up.
I don't intend to go there. I've never been a participant in any of these things other than, I'll say one thing. And the fact that sometimes I can't go to church. And I turn the TV on Channel 22, and I see and hear...
Oh, on Channel 22?
Yeah, 22. I don't have cable. I can't afford.
You see that bozo in the striped double-breasted jacket doing Action 60s?
Oh, sure.
To an audience 90 and over.
All of them. But I have a couple of guys that I relate to very well. Billy Graham has always opened up his books. Charles Stanley opened up his books. This guy named Kennedy out of Miami, I think, they always open their books. And these guys, you see, still are on the tube, and we do like to look at some of these people sometimes.
Yeah, we like to look at Vanna White in this country, too.
Oh, you do, but I don't.
No, I don't watch Vanna White, sir.
Because she never looked the same each time. She changed the hairdo and changed the costume. I don't know whether it's the same girl or not.
Well, I send her $15 a month.
Anyway, I think that Falwell is doing a great job in trying to do the same thing as Lee Iacocca, to take over an organization that's falling apart. And I think that what he's trying to do, and I think he'll back out of it. I don't think he wants anything out of it. You can only have so much money in the world. And
tell Jim Baker that.
Yeah, that's the thing I think that is what is the big backlash here. For this character to have $4.8 million in the last 3 years, and I understand from the news radio today that this gentleman that took over, was it?
And poor Jessica Hahn. Poor Jessica Hahn, they cut off her money today. Everybody's trying to screw this poor woman.
Yeah, but he fired two people.
One way or another.
No, wait a minute. He fired 2 people. He also cut off all the $1.5 million salary to this guy,
well, they did worse than that. They made poor Rex Humbard carry his baggage to the car.
Sir, was the guy that he fired? You're a real intelligent.
Pastor Dortch.
Dortch and
Richard Dortch.
And there's another guy.
Dortch is in Dutch.
Okay. But he took this guy that left the place and cut off $1.5 million salary. And the other thing that the media has not, I've been believing you guys real well. And now I'm at a point to where I don't know whether I believe you or Falwell. And you're going to have to straighten this out.
You got trouble, sir.
Because Falwell says...
I believe Tim Coles before I believe Jerry Falwell.
Okay. But what I heard on radio is that he stopped the... They had a trust fund set up for this girl that you...
Right, poor Jessica Hahn.
Yeah.
They cut her off cold.
Yeah, they had a trust fund set up.
Poor Jessica.
He cut the trust fund out.
Did you see her today out in front of her house, weeping and wailing, gnashing her teeth?
So don't you think that old Jerry is trying to get the thing straightened out?
He's already probably put his wife on the payroll, took the money from Jessica and gave it to his wife, no doubt.
No, he cut them all out. And I sort of see him right now.
Penny pincher.
I don't know Jerry Falwell. I've never been a participant in his organization. But what I see that's happening, I have to compliment, and I'm going to, cut you off here, is the fact that I think that what he's doing...
Whoa. You're going to cut me off.
Ooh, because I didn't know how long you'd let me talk.
This long. 21 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. I just don't believe all of you vultures that want to pick on the poor bones of Jim and Tammy in the PTL Club. My goodness. Tampa, hi, you're on the air at WPLP.
How you doing, Bob?
Fine.
I bet you'll never guess who I saw today.
Tex Ritter?
He's the guy called you last night threatening to send petitions around to get you off the air.
Really?
I saw the guy at Circle K begging for signatures, Bob.
Circle K begging for signatures?
Begging. I couldn't believe it. I remember.
Oh, hell, I'd have signed this petition.
I walked up there and said, let me see the petition, and he gladly gave it to me, and it had one signature on it. It was his name.
Oh, the poor man.
And I hope he's listening because you're a sucker.
I'm a sucker.
No, the guy who called in, I want him to hear that.
He's a sucker.
Yeah, if you're listening, you're a sucker.
I would have signed his petition. I'll sign almost anything.
I think he's crying now.
Really?
Probably.
Oh.
The guy was begging, Bob. I'm telling you.
Was it because they liked me or they didn't know who I was?
I have no idea. I almost died of laughter after I left because my son pulled me back because I was going to laugh in his face. I don't know if anything would have happened, but my son pulled me back and I explained to him last night what happened, and he started laughing too.
How old is your son?
19.
19. Well, I feel sorry for the man. I
hope he calls tonight, Bob.
He probably will.
Well, I'd just like to say I like the show. Keep up the good work.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the update.
And I hope the sucker calls in.
Okay.
Okay, see you later, Bob.
Bye-bye. Tampa 224-0057, Pinellas 393-0057. Hi, Tampa. You're on the air at WPLP.
Hello, Bob.
Hello.
I really like your show, I like to say. And what I want to talk about first is the government.
The government. Okay.
Okay.
Any particular government?
Yes. All government.
Our government. Okay.
Okay. I hate the way they are running it. Okay? Because it seems like Reagan looks like he's high all the time. And it's amazing how he can get through all these things.
Reagan looks like he's high all the time?
Yeah, Reagan. Excuse me, sometimes I cannot pronounce my words correctly.
No, that's not. I was just going back to make sure I understood what you said.
Okay. I just want to let you know sometimes I can't correct my...
I mean, he almost never says, oh, wow.
Well, there were...
I've never seen him eating potato chips.
He don't eat potato chips. I think he eats jelly beans.
That's an interesting point you brought up. He does. He's popping those jelly beans left and right.
Mm-hmm. And if you go in and see the Senate, I was very discouraged in the way I seen the Senate and the House set up. They were calling roll, and nobody was paying any attention. They were acting like a bunch of school kids.
No.
They were trying to vote on serious matters, and they were just running around, talking, and not paying any attention to the House Speaker. And this is what I've seen.
The Senate wasn't paying any attention at all to the House Speaker.
That is correct.
Okay.
And I've seen this. And I don't...
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, and I don't
sound like an honest woman to me.
Yes, and I don't like the thing about they keep hiding all the scandals and stuff. I think it's very wrong.
Where are they hiding them?
Well, first of all, you notice how that one guy, I think his name is Meese?
Yes.
And I'm not sure. I'm trying to think now. Remember the Iran scandal?
Yes, I remember it very well.
Okay. And all those things, they don't come out.
That's because the hearings don't start until June 15th.
That's right. But see, the thing is, they hide it. They're lying because they don't want the truth to be known.
No, that's not why the hearings don't start until the 15th of June.
I'm not talking about the hearings. I'm talking about that's why they lie. Okay? Before they even had the hearings, before anybody knew this, and I remember watching a lot of TV and watching Reagan trying to dodge the questions that were thrown at him by the reporters.
Uh-huh.
And that's why, that's what I was going to say about him. And
what kind of drugs do you think the president is taking?
Got me. I don't know, but it looks like he must be taking something. I don't mean to insult him, but he looks like he must be taking something to prevent from getting cancer. But why would he last through the operation? About the colon cancer and made it through when he was shot, was assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's all I have to say about him. He makes me sick.
Okay.
And I have something else to say.
Oh.
You know when you talk about your brain-damaged folks?
Yes.
That insults me a little bit.
Are you brain damaged?
I am going to explain something to you, and I'm not ashamed of it. Okay, I have got cerebral palsy, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when I was born, and I'm not ashamed to say this, and I don't care if my husband is listening. I am not ashamed of it. Okay, I have got, when I was born with half of a brain. A part of my brain did not grow.
Uh-huh.
And when you say brain damaged, I got a better word for you.
What's that?
Retards.
Well, we'll take that into consideration and pass it around the next staff meeting.
Mm-hmm. Because I think that would be a little better than calling someone brain damaged.
Okay. Well, I thank you much.
Uh-huh.
Be good.
I will.
Told you it's going to be an exciting evening. Gulfport, you're on the air at WPLP.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Hi, baby. Now, you know what I think Falwell is together in the short time he might be there. But I would like to see Ernest Ainsley in there because, after all, he heals. And I never know
Ernest
if I might
Ainsley?
be healed.
Ernest Ainsley?
Yeah, sure, he heals.
Well, why the hell can't he grow hair then?
Well, he's so selfless and all. He probably hasn't had time to touch his own head.
What do you mean selfless? The man wears a $1,000 suit.
I've been too busy touching Jim Baker. Who knows? But anyway.
Whoa. Whoa. Are you implying that Ernest Ainsley and Jim Baker?
No, I don't know. It's kind of a mess. And you know that.
Do you have signed affidavits attesting to this?
I don't know. It's hard to say in this day and age. But it wouldn't surprise me as an RN that president might be slipping a little speed now and then. I've often thought of it myself, in fact. I mean, he's pretty remarkable for his age. And, I need your address on this thing, because I never know what I might think of to say next. And I want to be, for your petitions. Give me that address again.
I'd be delighted to send it to SOFAR. That's SOFAR, P.O. Box 48579, St. Petersburg.
All right, baby. And don't forget we're having a party.
3743. By the way, I'm sure you'd be delighted to know that my guest in the 8 o'clock hour tomorrow night will be Neil Rogers of WINZ.
Oh, hey.
We'll be talking about so far.
I'll put up my manuscript and listen to that.
Okay.
Maybe I'll get in early.
Well,
okay,
I'm sure Neil will appreciate it.
And don't forget the party. Bring Neil.
Okay.
We're gonna have it in May,
All right.
Bye, love.
Okay. Neil would be more interested in Jim. North Tampa, hi, you're on the air at WPLP.
How you doing, Bob?
I'm here.
listening to your caller 2-3 callers ago, he identified himself as a druid.
Ah, yes.
Now, Mr. Druid has used that same line with 3 other talk show hosts on your station and on the other station. I can't remember which one. He is a talk show host, co-host. He just loves to co-host all the shows, and he uses the same line almost on every. He tells them how good they are, how wonderful they are, but if they would just do this.
He didn't tell me I was good or wonderful.
Yes, he did. He told you a couple weeks ago, but you weren't listening.
Oh.
Yes, he told you were pretty good. All you had to do was, and he made a few suggestions. That was about 2 weeks ago. I know his voice. I know it like a T.
What were his suggestions?
Pardon me?
What did he suggest I do to become really good?
He said you were getting too. I'm not sure, but I think he said you might get a blood pressure problem or something or other. You were getting too excited.
Did I explain to him that I had low blood pressure and all I did was bring it up to normal when I got excited?
At any rate, I can assure you that you'll hear him in the next week or so, and his line generally is with all the talk show persons is that how good they are, but here's how they can really improve themselves. And then he comes up with an original line like a druid. He used that a couple of times today with a couple other people, and I was
Did he use it with Chuck Harder?
Pardon me?
Did he use it with Chuck Harder?
I can't remember. I have a business where I listen to the radio all day long, and he's been on 2-3 times. But anyhow, the line of druid, I remember, and I was trying to think to myself, what in the world is a druid? I forgot. Seemed like they were something in mythology. But anyhow, if you can remember him, he'll. But that's all I wanted to comment tonight. The show is going on pretty good with.
Well, thank you for exposing him.
Well,
and thank you for not exposing yourself.
Exactly. I'm just a junkie, and I listen.
I thank you. Good night, Pinellas Park. You're on the air, WPLP.
Hello, Robert.
Hello.
I wanted to talk to you about PTL, too.
All right.
I know you watch about every day, and I do, too. And on January 2nd, if you watched that day, they broke ground for the Crystal Palace.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember them doing that?
Oh, I sure do.
Shovels and
I took snapshots right there off the screen for my scrapbook.
Now, do you think they're going to build it?
Well, Jerry was asked about that today, and he said for the moment everything is on hold, but they hope to, within the next several days,
oh, really?
Prioritize their priorities, and they'll see what they build and what they don't.
That's supposed to seat the 30,000 people.
Well, Jerry said a lot of interesting things today. He, in essence, said that the theology at the PTL Club would be changing, I assume, to fit his more conservative Southern Baptist leanings, getting away from the charismatic movement that Baker was involved in. I'm not sure that Jerry's going to want a gaudy 30,000 or 100,000 square foot auditorium.
Uh-huh. Well, it sort of seemed like it was beginning to be like a principality, and now they were going to build the palace.
Well, I just can't wait for Jim and Tammy to show up, with guns and try to take over. And that's what Tammy kind of implied. She said Jim's going to be back and back real soon.
Okay, now I never heard anybody say anything about this, but
I'd never seen her before without all that makeup on. She almost looks kind of good today. Except she looked a little heavier, I thought. Well, she had that sweatshirt on. You can't tell for sure.
Well, her face looked fuller.
Did it?
Mm-hmm. Another thing, I never heard anybody mention that his hair is different. His hair is white.
Jim's hair?
Yeah.
Well, it's been turning gray.
Oh, no, like this. His hair looks like it's nearly all white.
What, did you see him today?
Well,
was he on television today?
No, it showed him when they made the statement. Was it over the weekend or something? And they were both sitting in chairs.
Oh, no, that's several weeks old. That's 4 or 5 weeks old. That's right after she got out of the, I guess she was in the Betty Ford clinic. That was right after she got out.
No, that's the first I had seen him, and his hair is white. All correct.
Well, your hair would be white, too, if you had just lost a job that paid $30,769.23 a week.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
What's the poor man going to do?
If it was from the trauma, or if he just hadn't had time to have his hair dyed.
I mean, can't you see him filling out an application Poor man.
Well, that's all I had to say, Bob.
I thank you for it.
Bye-bye.
Good night. 8:35 the time.
The phone numbers that put you on the air at WPLP are...
.37 the time. Tampa 224-0057. Pinellas 393-0057. No, we're not really talking about the PTL Club. As a matter of fact, this is an open program. Right on through till 11 o'clock. Anything your little heart desires to put on the radio is fine with me. Hi, Treasure Island. You're on the air at WPLP.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
I'd like to start out by confessing my sin, first of all, that I'm not a regular listener every day, but I do enjoy your show.
Well, thank you. Why don't you listen every day?
Well, I have to work for a living, and apparently
so do I.
In the country you don't.
Well, I got to work for a living, but I put on the show every day, sir. I mean, I think the least you could do is to listen to it.
Well, I have listened today, and I find that some people make an extraordinary amount of income for what little they contribute.
Oh, sir, I don't make that much.
Well, wait a minute. Methinks that, as Shakespeare said, you protest too much. In any event, I think it's fitting that Jim and Tammy favor.
However, we are going to build a studio of faith right here at the radio station. We're going to build a studio of faith, and everybody that sends in at least $100, their name will be placed on the wall in the studio of faith.
Well, I was going to invite you publicly to become a deacon of my church.
And don't forget the 570 Club. Everybody that sends in $15 a month can join the 570 Club.
Well, I'm preparing to incorporate a not-for-profit organization called
Church
of Living Buck.
What do you mean a deacon in your church? Sir, I've got a radio station. I don't need your dinky little church.
Oh, well, we all need to stand together, however.
Oh, yeah, sure. You don't have a radio station, so you're trying to muscle in on my good thing.
We all have to stand together, and those of us who are brethren with the same ideas have to stand together, or we'll all fall at the same time.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah, sure. That's easy for you to say because you don't have a radio show. How are you going to raise bucks sitting there at home? You know, the best you can do is open your window and scream out into the street.
That's why I wanted to offer to you the deaconship without having to pay for it. I've offered $10,000 deaconships to other folks.
Sir, I don't need a deaconship in your church. I've got the Studio of Faith going for me, the 570 Club, plus whatever else I can think of.
Well, I've already got a lot of logos made up, magnetized logos to put on the sides of our cars.
As we speak, my dear wife Mary is out at the Eckerts buying makeup. She'll be in here in about a half an hour, just coated and covered with makeup from head to toe, and we're just going to start our own thing here, the 570 Club.
Well, my wife's now trying to buy Walgreens so we can get it cheaper.
I see. Oh, that was close. Oh, my goodness.
I think it's interesting.
Wait a second. No, it's not one of the words. Okay.
I think it's interesting that all of this comes up in the bicentennial celebration of our Constitution. This is the 200th year of our federal Constitution.
Well, that's a fact that hasn't escaped me, but why do you see it so interesting?
Well, I think it's appropriately fitting because a lot of these guys who have put up the shield of the First Amendment are now being put to the trial of exactly what protections are offered. I think the television, the ministries that are using the airwaves that are governed by the FCC are going to have to account through the FCC, to the IRS, and so forth. The point I wanted to make, the principal point I wanted to make, is that I think it has been established through all of the reports this evening that the $265,000 paid to Jessica was paid by church money.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jerry Falwell said that outright in his news conference this afternoon.
If there are any IRS investigators out there, I would suggest that they take a look at Mr. Baker's tax returns and see whether he claimed that money as income, and if not, he might have a problem.
Well, I think Mr. Baker has many problems. many problems.
Just a thought.
Not the least of which is where to get $30,769.23 a week from now on.
Well, he made the mistake of sending a telex to Jerry. You know, I think that was the mistake last weekend. But they run fast and fancy free, and unfortunately, they may have something else going on the side. Who knows?
Well, maybe they'll give him a job back at the, he could kind of clean up the barn there at the petting zoo.
Well, maybe he'll be able to become a swimming pool guard, lifeguard for his son-in-law.
Gee, I wonder if he bought one of the 4 days and 3 night packages.
I don't think Richard's going to be peddling that anymore. According to Jerry. It's all very interesting, however.
Oh, it's delightful.
Well, you seem to be in seventh heaven in any case.
Well, so to speak.
Well, I've been looking at this. Another ironic thing is that I sold a vacation home in North Carolina last year, and I find it kind of fitting that they're no longer welcome back to South Carolina, which is just over the border. My wife and I traveled looking for this place several years ago, and I couldn't find it. I could not find Heritage Village, USA.
Why were you looking for it?
Because I've been watching this stuff for several years.
Yeah, I've been watching it for a long time too, but I've never felt compelled to go there.
Well, I was completely intrigued by it, and
intrigued?
I don't understand. Well, I have read P.T. Barnum's...
Boatyard Village would intrigue you, I guess. It's probably really more lavish than...
How does a man of the cloth have the gall to take $1.6 million a year this year? Now, I don't know whether he took it in 84 and 85. I haven't seen any...
Well, pretty close. I believe the figure that I heard was $4.3 million over 3 years.
Well,
so that comes out real close to $1.5 million a year.
84 and 85 figures I didn't see reported in the paper, and I don't necessarily agree or believe what the paper says. But $1.6 million or $1.5 million, in excess of $1.5 million, has been confirmed apparently through reliable news sources.
Oh yeah, well the PTL has confirmed it.
Yeah, and that's appalling.
Plus over 600 and some odd thousand just so far this year.
That's appalling when it comes from people who, particularly in this community, little old ladies and little old men who are giving their Social Security, their fixed income.
Well, you say it's appalling, but we have known for a very long time that Jim had a condominium in Florida that went for several $100,000. We've known for a long time that he had a
condom. I thought that was a condom on Clearwater Beach.
Well, no, he didn't. He had an operation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But he has a condominium over on the east coast of Florida. We've known for a long time that he had a very lavish home in Palm Springs, California that went for a small fortune. We've known for a long time that he and his wife drive ultra-expensive cars. Not very expensive, ultra-expensive cars. This shouldn't be any surprise to anyone that he's been knocking down these tremendous bucks for a long time. The guy lives well.
Well, does he have beneficial use of it, or is it, in fact, titled in his name?
To the best of my knowledge, it's titled in his name. He bought it with the money that he was paid. He paid himself these outrageous salaries. He ain't no fool. He probably knew that at some point the whole thing
out of this world.
I know it's out of this world.
Plus, I would...
Dan, there what they pay me here.
I would suspect Tammy Faye is selling her albums to the PTL Club to give away to contributors. In addition to that, I mean, that's a typical kind of scam or scheme that one would use in that kind of situation.
Well, actually, no. One of the things that they did to justify this salary is that they gave the proceeds from the albums and the books to PTL, and of course patted themselves on the back for having done so, except the fact that the only way you could get those records, the only way you ever knew that those records existed was because of the free advertising.
Exactly.
On PTL. And they've been patting themselves on the backs for years about, we turn over all the royalties right back to the ministry. We give until it hurts. Take until it hurts.
The flip side of the coin is Jimmy Swaggart, who says he pulls down less than 100, or less than 90, I believe he was quoted.
No, he said less than 100. And his wife takes home less than 100.
The royalties on his records that he gets the free advertising for.
Exactly.
Through his ministry programs.
Exactly.
So,
now, again, he would have no way of selling them except for his ministry programs, which are paid for with donations from suckers.
They're supposed to go to poor, helpless people abroad and in this country, including Appalachia.
What, his records?
No.
That would be cruel and unusual punishment.
Nations.
Oh.
There was tracing the funds. To the extent that the FCC has jurisdiction over all of this, it seems to me.
Well, no, the FCC doesn't really have any tremendous jurisdiction on this because Jim Baker doesn't own any television stations. All he does is he buys time on television stations. So The problem, if there is a problem, and there won't be, would be with the licensee, the owner of the TV or radio station that's selling them the time.
Right. Okay. Well, it's not a direct. He's not a direct target under those circumstances. But to the extent that the radio stations or TV stations, in this case, could lose their license theoretically if they are active participants in fraud through commerce, that is, procuring monies by allowing people to plead for them over the air and bring them in, and knowing or having good reason to believe they're being diverted, you've got a situation where you've got collusion in a sense.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice? I must run along, but I thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Be good.
Night now.
That opens a line in Pinellas, and there are 2 lines open in Hillsborough. That will never do. Clearwater, welcome to WPLP.
Well, you took a little bit of what I was going to say, and I just couldn't hold it back anymore. You know, nobody was shocked that these guys, and I'll just lump them all together because I think they're all people.
Nobody should have been shocked at all.
Nobody was shocked that these guys are ripping off old ladies for their Social Security checks. That's exposed all the time. That they're on the air actively. I mean, I saw active commercials on that show to get people to sign their wills, though.
Oh, sure.
And just shameless stuff. I mean, just shameless. You know, what are you going to do with your money when you die? Give it to us. I mean, real blatant. Nobody.
Well, the master of that is Pat Robertson, because when he's running one of his telethons, he runs these little vignettes where he puts on this yuppie couple, and they always say things like, "Oh, we were down to our last $10 2 years ago, and we were going to go out and buy groceries, but we turned on the television, and there was Pat asking for money, and we sent him the last $10, and Michael Anthony knocked on the door the day afterwards." Yeah. And the same thing could happen to you if you send your last $10. I mean, he literally runs spots like that. I exaggerate slightly, but not much.
Not much, no. And nobody was shocked that Jerry Falwell was presiding over the carnage in Vietnam, and hand in hand with Nixon, and you know, send your boys off in a box.
Well, hell, Jerry Falwell is the man that used to read out of the Bible and justify segregation by what was in the Bible.
And nobody's shocked about that. And there's no great public outcry that Jim Baker had his condominium with the gold plumbing. When that was exposed, it was $800 and some thousand.
Well, it was over $20,000 in mirrors.
And nobody, but you know what everybody's all freaked out about?
Wonder how many of them are on the ceiling.
This guy likes sex. Oh, no.
Well, that's not the real problem. I mean, the thing that really brought him down was not that he likes sex, but that he likes sex with...
with everybody.
Everybody, right.
And walks.
Yes.
They'd do it with a snake if you could get it to hold still long enough.
It was just, well, so to speak. It was just, last Friday night that we all saw, or was it Sunday morning? Now you've really got me shaking here. I guess it was Sunday morning with Leslie Stahl that there sat... Jerry Falwell, and he in essence said, you know, it's all right to kill your mother, it's all right to do this, it's all right to do that, God will forgive you for it, but if it's homosexuality, no way.
Yeah. But even before the homosexuality, just the fact that it turns out that the guy, hey, look, he's into sex. Now there's a huge...
Oh, now he's into hock to the IRS, too, but that's besides it.
Well, you know, he cheated, he stole, but, you know, I think all of that could have been forgiven. I think maybe if he'd had a sick old mother in Connecticut that he cheated on his taxes and stole from the church for, that would have been okay.
Of course.
But it was some hot little 21-year-old claimed to be a virgin, and it all came down to the fact that...
right, not a conservative, too.
Right. Hey, this was sin, and it was fun, and we can't have any of that. I mean, that's what we're all opposed to, is sin and fun.
You got it. You got it.
I don't know, man. Some people just have their heads screwed on backwards, and there seems to be millions of them.
Could you please, be kind of careful with words like that? We're just not sure what the commission is thinking these days.
I meant twisted on backwards.
Thank you.
You understand? I meant a fixated...
There's also that other word that I was worried about, that first one that came there. We just don't know what the problem is with the commission these days.
Yes, I know. We don't know what a lewd comment is going to turn out to be, do we?
No, we don't.
Hey, there's another one. I mean, there's another source of blatant, tremendous hypocrisy, right? I mean, I suppose that reruns of Three's Company are okay.
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay. And all the double entendres that contains is all right because that shows a big hit in syndication.
Well, you must remember this is the same Federal Communications Commission that approximately 2 years ago at a station somewhere, I believe it was in Missouri, said, you know, it was perfectly all right what these people are doing because they're protected by the First Amendment. And what these people in Missouri were doing was some of the most blatant racial and anti-Semitic broadcasting that has ever been done, including suggesting to the audience that they keep dossiers on Jews in their neighborhoods because the day will come when they're going to want to know where these people are so they can go out and kill them.
Sure.
But, you know, the FCC, the very same FCC said, well, you know, that's, we don't like that kind of talk, but it's protected by the First Amendment. Give me a break.
I thought we were deregulated.
Well, we are, except when it comes to SEX.
Yeah, how about that, boy? I think, obviously, the Meese Commission has had an impact on us all. Now, if we could just catch whatever Edmund Meese is sneaking around doing, and I'm sure it's something.
Well, I don't want to start any vicious rumors, but it is my understanding that his limousine was seen out in front of Jessica Hahn's house the other day. However, I must run and take a commercial break.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Talk, the monstrous mad dog Bob Lassiter.
After the hour of 9 o'clock, Tuesday night, April 28th, 1987, second of 3 hours, with me, Bob Lassiter, lovable Bob Lassiter, your friend, here to help you through the night, to solve your problem, to do whatever it takes to make you happy. That's our aim here at WPLP, to make you happy, to be your friend. We have 2 lines available for friends, 1 in each county. In Hillsborough, the number to be my friend is 224-0057. In Pinellas, if you would like to be my friend, 393-0057. How may I help you?
Whose side are you on, God or the devil? You have no business talking about Jimmy Swaggart. Jimmy Swaggart, I've heard...
Rocky, come on, Rocky.
Probably the greatest piano player in the whole
Rocky.
world.
Rocky. It's not going to play, Rocky. We got you now.
Is that right?
That's right.
Well. You know, I've been sitting here listening to your program, and I've been listening to you all week, and I've been listening to everybody all week. And I haven't commented. You haven't heard from me on this issue. You haven't said anything.
I haven't said anything?
Baker.
I haven't said anything about Jim Baker?
Listen. The people have been doing the talking about Jim Baker.
Uh-huh.
Well, why don't you ask me how I feel about the man? Wouldn't you like to know?
Gee, Rocky, how do you feel about Jim Baker?
I never miss a show, Mr. Lassiter. I thought it was the greatest comedy on TV. If the Honeymooners weren't on, or the Three Stooges, you know, or if I didn't rent a tape for my VCR, I always tune in Jim and Tammy. I kind of miss them in a way. I really hate to see him go for that fact. But what I would like to see done with Mr. Baker and all the ministers now would be to get in their books, their files, and try to figure out all the people that give them money and send the money back to the people that give them the money.
But Rocky, it's gone.
I don't know. You know, how many acres do they have in South Carolina up there?
23 or 2,600, I believe.
Well, there's a lot of stuff up there, and there's a lot of buildings up there. Maybe we could turn it into a type of an amusement park, and we could charge...
But it is a type of amusement park, and they do charge admission.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. Instead of using the money what they're using it for, send it back to the people that helped build it.
But
give the money back to the people that built PTL.
But Rocky, there are very few people that would pay money to go see winos working in the fields, or
we won't have the winos there.
To go stroll on a walk of faith.
They've got a water slide there. We can change the theme. We can change the name.
To what?
We can turn to what?
Yeah, to what?
Well, we could think of something. I mean, we've got SeaWorld, Disney World, Walt Disney World.
I don't know. I think it's very aptly named Heritage USA. I mean, if anything is our heritage, it's what's going on up there.
That don't have the right kind of ring to it, Mr. Lassiter.
It doesn't?
No.
How about Whiteyville?
How about Satan's Den?
Satan's Den.
I think that sounds a lot better, don't you?
Satan's Den.
Remember that there used to
kind of roll off the tongue, you know? Satan's Den.
Yeah, I think it'd be it'd be a beautiful nightclub atmosphere, you know. And what more fitting to name the place is nothing but a giant sin pen. All the money was...
I guess we could turn the upper room into kind of an intimate jazz club.
Well, you know, I thought what we maybe could do is if...
The acoustics are pretty good.
What we could do is maybe hire the Rolling Stones and beg the Who to get back together for a special concert.
Who?
The Who.
Who?
The Who.
Yeah. That's what I said. Who?
Roger Daltrey.
Oh.
Let's get Roger Daltrey and the Who back together. Let's get the Rolling Stones and ship them over from England or France, wherever they're hanging around now. Put them in Heritage USA, but call it Satan's Den. And I guarantee you, we'll attract more people than was ever at Altamont. Don't you think that'd be a good idea?
Well, I suppose if we had, female light topless.
When we get the money, we're going to take this money and send it back to the people that sent it to them to start with. Now, when everybody's paid off, I got a little surprise package deal for Jim Baker. He's going to have to go to work. But he ain't going to be working like everybody else. He's got a prison sentence ready. Man's going to be put in leg irons and striped pants and the whole bit.
Rocky, you're not going to push your idea of, the circular prisons again, I hope.
What's wrong with my ideas of circular prisons? There's nothing wrong with my ideas of the circular prison.
Well, let's stay on what was Sin City, Sin Den. What was it again?
Satan's Den.
Satan's Den.
Yeah, there used to be a nightclub on 49th Street called Satan's Den, but there were so many busts that the guy just gave up and left town. He took it back to New York.
Was that one of Joe Redner's places?
No.
Oh.
I think it'd be a great idea. Call it Satan's Den. Hey, what happened to Uncle Henry?
Uncle Henry? I don't know. I guess he's really bummed out. Poor Uncle Henry.
He sure did have a nice pair of red boots, didn't he?
I liked Uncle Henry, and that pink sport coat.
Well, he was kind of like the Ed McMahon of the Johnny Carson show. He was a sidekick.
He was.
I think
Uncle Henry's worked for almost all of them. Uncle Henry used to work for Pat Robertson. Uncle Henry also worked for, I think it was Rex Humbard.
I'd like to put them all together, every one of them. Get them all together and give them some good old overhauls and a straw hat. And I'd like to...
Well, I suppose that, barn down there at the petting zoo does get a little gamey.
No, and I'm talking about putting them to work. Let them work like everybody else does.
Cool it, Rocky. I don't work.
Hey, let's all give them a steel driving hammer and let them work on a railroad. We got a lot of railroads that ought to be upgraded.
We do?
Can you imagine driving down the road and seeing swinging a sledgehammer?
Well, it is rather a pleasant thought.
You know what Johnny Cash said about swinging that sledgehammer?
What did Johnny Cash say about it?
You know how to swing a hammer, boy? That's what Johnny Cash says.
Really?
He says, boy, you know how to swing a hammer? That's what I'd like to see Jim Baker doing, swinging a hammer.
Well, might be an amusing sight.
No.
Make a great attraction at Heritage USA.
Hey, now we know that...
Big pile of rocks, and Jim and Tammy there in striped pants.
We know that Jim Baker...
Tammy's mascara running in the noonday sun.
Sure. I got a place for Tammy Faye, too.
Oh, really, Rocky?
Sure.
How long have you had this thing about Tammy?
I don't like Tammy. I think she's one of the ugliest women I ever saw in my life.
Really?
Sure.
I thought she was kind of cute.
Well, from the behind, maybe.
Behind?
You ever notice the skirts she wears? They're real long. You know why?
Well, I guess she's got fat legs.
Bow knees.
Really?
That's right.
Oh, my goodness.
She's bow-legged.
No.
And she's short. And Jim Baker's short. He's too short. He ain't big enough to swing a 10-pound sledgehammer. We'd have to give him maybe a 5-pound job.
Really getting worried there for a second, Rocky.
No, I'm serious. I'd like to see the man put to work. I mean, what all... Hey, you know who the worst people in the world are?
Well, I have
Christians. The Christians I've met are the laziest, no good.
But, Rocky, I thought you were a Christian.
No.
How could you possibly be a member of the Klan and not be a Christian?
I'm not a Christian.
Then you mustn't be a member of the Klan either.
No, I am a member of the Klan.
But you gotta be a Christian to be a member of the Klan.
No, you
I've
don't.
read the applications, Rocky.
No. You got that all wrong.
Do you mean to tell me there's an atheist chapter of the Klan?
Sure is.
No.
I'm not an atheist. I'm not an atheist.
There's a Jewish chapter of the Klan?
No, I'm not an atheist. I'm not an atheist. You see, the word
nobody
Christian...
has not denied me.
I've noticed the word Christian is a word you love to employ and manipulate through people's minds. You see, right now the word Christian's got a real bad reputation. Saying to someone that you're a Christian is like saying, I'm a hell's angel. It makes about as much sense.
It is?
That's right. Christians are murderers and thieves.
Hello, Bob. I'm 83 years old from Ohio, and I'm a Christian.
That doesn't sound to me like a hell's angel.
They're in the same caliber. The only one that one smiles at you when he stabs you in the back, and the other one frowns.
You mean those Christians have tattoos on their butts?
Hey, I've seen them. I've seen Christians with tattoos. Why do you think they all wear long-sleeve shirts and three-piece suits? They want to hide them tattoos.
No.
There's a lot of.
No.
Hey, don't you remember the episode when Jim Baker had one of the members of the Hells Angels, Reformed Hells Angels?
No, I must have missed that one.
You missed that one. And Jim Baker looked at him and he says, now here's a man that's the next Hells Angel that would have just loved to cut my throat 5 years ago, but now he's a man of the Lord. He said he wouldn't harm a fly now. And the Hells Angel was on. He says, yes, that's right, praise the Lord. And he says, looky here. He took off his three-piece suit and he was tattooed from fingernail up to his shoulder blades.
Are there many members of the Jewish Klan?
I've never seen a Jew in a Klan.
Well, now wait a minute. I'm very confused.
I'll clear things up.
You said that you were not a Christian.
No, I'm not a Christian.
You said you were not an atheist.
I'm not an atheist either.
So what does that leave?
I'm a Vatron.
What's a Vatron?
A Vatron is a person who believes in God, who believes in Jesus, but does not profess of being a Christian. I'm a Vatron.
A Vatron?
Right.
Okay.
Aren't you into the Vatrons? Hey, look,
No, I've never really followed Star Trek very closely.
I was in the occult for 3 years. There was a man here and his wife who said that the world would come to an end June 20th, 1981. He suckered a lot of people into money. I know his name, but I won't use it because I know it wouldn't be nice. I won't use his name. But he's still here in town. And he's living in South St. Petersburg.
Uh-huh.
He professed that the world was going to come to an end June 20th, 1981. And when it didn't happen, his reason for it not happening was to test your faith. That was what he said. Now, he got a lot of money. And he's down here, and he's using the paper every year about Christmas time for having the most light bulbs in his backyard. He usually makes the paper. No, but I'm a Vatron, and I'm proud of it, and I'm also a member of the...
Do you have pointed ears or something?
What?
Do you have pointed ears? No, that's...
No, that was that guy on Star Trek.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Spock.
Leonard Nimoy Spock, yeah. Dr. Spock. No, I'm a Vatron. But what'd you say he was?
Vulcan or something.
He's a Vulcan. No, I'm a Vatron.
Okay.
There's about 1,300 members of the chapter of Vatrons in the United States now.
You actually have a chapter? What do you guys?
Well,
you guys
I don't
have a secret?
Chapter. I'm just a member of the
secret handshake or something?
What?
Do you have a secret handshake or something?
Oh no, anybody can become a member of the Vatrons.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Even Jews?
See, a Vatron is a person who professes that there was a Christ, but does not follow Christian beliefs.
Guys, you join every wacko organization that comes down the street, Rocky.
I was a member of the John Birch Society, but I quit that. I quit the John Birch Society.
Why did you do that?
Well, because they had some things I wasn't sure of, and I didn't want to spend any more time with the John Birch Society. I give that up.
Well, you're an easy touch. You just join all these groups.
Well, I've been in a lot of them, I tell you. I was in the occult for a good 3 years, and the thing about when you're in a cult, you don't know it. That's how they get you in there.
No.
Sure is.
You mean you used to stand out on the street corner in saffron robes and with a tambourine and jump up and down?
No, but I went around telling everybody the world was coming to an end. And I lost interest in making money. People thought I was nuts. They thought I was crazy. But they found out later that I wasn't. I got my head on together right now.
Yeah, be careful with that one there.
I said I got my head...
I know, I thank you for being careful with
right.
that one there.
I didn't want to say anything out of line.
No, sir. Get me in trouble.
Well, I want to get you... Oh, you know this FCC thing you're talking about?
Yeah?
What? I signed the petition.
You signed a petition?
I sure did.
That's amazing. I haven't sent them out yet. They won't go out until tomorrow.
I didn't have to. It's some guy here in the neighborhood that's passing them out, and he's going to send them to you. You see, I told him about your show.
Uh-huh.
He's listening to your show, and he's got the petition fixed up, and I signed it. He asked me if I'd sign it. He asked me if I believed in this cause, and I told him, yes, I do. Because if it wasn't true, people like me couldn't get on the air. If anybody is
for... That's the argument I've ever heard for repealing the First Amendment.
If anybody is for the First Amendment, I am. Because I realize that a person in my position, well, you know, we would be kind of, you might say, the rug pulled out from under us a little bit more, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it goes all the way to the door. It might go to the window this time. You know, that was a scenario I just told you. I'm sure you understand that.
Well, gee, Rocky, I really thank you for visiting with us tonight. Unfortunately, I do have a commercial break coming up.
Thanks a lot.
Well, okay.
You have a nice night.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. It has totally escaped you what it is today, hasn't it? Before we do continue with the program tonight, by the way, there's one line open. It's in Pinellas, 393-0057. I do want to remind you about our Studio of Faith that we are building. If you would like your name on the wall in the Studio of Faith, simply send in at least $100, and we'll put your name on the wall in the Studio of Faith. Gordon Bird will pencil it in. He has a very, very nice hand. And he'll just write it right up there on the wall in the Studio of Faith. And then as years go by and people come to visit the radio station, they will go into the Studio of Faith and they will see that you supported this radio station, that you supported it not only by listening, but you supported it by sending me at least $100, preferably in cash. Actually, it has to be in cash. I will not accept checks. Checks will be torn up and sent back to you, but $100 in cash will get your name on the wall in the Studio of Faith. And also, if you would like to become a lifetime member of the 570 Club, you can send in $570 all at once or $15 a month forever. And we would also appreciate that in cash. And we promise to save you from having to listen to music radio at night. You'll get to have a personal experience with the exciter and the transmitter. It'll be marvelous. Tampa, you're on the air at WPLP.
Papa boy, I plan to have you off the air in the middle of May because my petitions are doing quite well.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And before I get on to you...
why are you holding your nose? Are you the same guy that was going to have me off on the 1st of September?
I'd just like to say to that fat slob that called in about me, you're disgusting, and he's an absolute liar, and that wimpy son of his didn't even get out their car.
By the middle of May?
By the middle of May, Buster boy. You'll be out.
You know something?
Street, Bobby.
You know something?
No, I don't know something. I know all.
You might be right.
You're going to go bye-bye.
You just might be right.
No, God tells me you're going to be gone, Bobby.
God tells you? Did God also tell you to hold your nose when you called, so that you could kind of disguise your voice? Did he also tell you to do that? I mean, you don't sound like that for real, I hope.
You'll find out.
Boy, I'd really hate to think that a poor slob had to go through life sounding like that for real. I mean, how do you get girls with a voice like that? How do you get anything with a voice like that?
How do you get anything with a body like yours?
Well, you should see what I have.
I saw, and it's disgusting.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, she's lovely.
Absolute pure disgust.
You always come out to my personal appearances?
No, I don't. I saw you once, and that was good enough for me.
You feel compelled to come out and see me, just as you feel compelled to listen at night.
No, I was just giving you an update, Bobby boy.
I mean, is this voice natural, or perhaps you fell off a motorcycle or something and injured yourself? How many signatures do you have on that petition, by the way?
I have 216.
Well, that'll impress Yoki.
216 a day.
216 a day. And how many days have you been doing this now?
2 days.
2 days, so you actually have 432.
Mm-hmm.
Ah. And why did you say 216?
I can tell you that.
Excuse me?
It's not my handwriting, I can tell you that.
Well, I'm sure of that. I doubt very much you can write.
Well, you doubt everything, I can tell.
Insofar as you're concerned, I do.
I'll have the last laugh when you're in the street, Bobby boy.
No, I'll have the last laugh.
No, you won't.
Ah, yes, I will.
I just can't wait to see you on the streets. Then I'll write the PTL club, tell them about you.
Oh, no! Please don't write the PTL club and tell them about me. Please don't do that. Please, I'll do anything. I'll mend my ways. I
didn't
promise.
Get this last time, but you're a real jerk.
Oh, how could you say that? I'm a human being. I have feelings. That brings tears to my eyes. I may not be able to finish the program tonight with you speaking to me that way.
Yeah, I'm the support structure of your program, I can tell.
What, you're a supporter?
No,
Is that what we used to call a jockstrap?
See, can't you listen, Bobby boy? See, you can't hear. You're worrying, Bob. You'll be gone pretty soon. Maybe even before me.
Maybe.
At the rate I'm going.
Oh, it has nothing to do with you.
No, it has to do with you.
That's right.
And you'll be gone.
That's a possibility.
And it's not a possibility, it's a fact.
You really think so? Why, do you know something I don't?
A lot more.
You're kidding. What do you know?
See, Bobby boy, if you read the Bible, you know a lot of stuff.
Oh, I do read the Bible.
Obviously, you just read newspapers and...
Oh, no, I read the Bible.
TV and you figure you know everything. You come on the radio...
Oh, I rarely watch TV. Rarely watch TV.
Talking all this garbage, and you...
I'm not even home at night like you are.
What all, Bobby?
By the way, why are you home at night every night?
Excuse me?
Why are you always home every night?
I'm not at my house. I'm at a friend's.
Oh, come on. You don't have a friend. Put the friend on the phone. Prove it. Prove to us that you have a friend.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Jim? Come here. Yes, hello?
Jim, Jim, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Jim, why do you sound just like the other guy, except that you're not holding your nose?
I have no idea.
Well, we'll assume, Jim, that you're not the other guy. Jim, you have very poor taste in friends. I don't want to say anything, Jim. You know, it's not really my thing to complain about other people's friends, but couldn't you do better than that? Is there a boys' club or something in your neighborhood?
What is the purpose of this statement?
I'm trying to help you enlarge your circle of friends, Jim.
Well, I have many friends.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Well, then why do you let that particular one come over and use your phone?
Because he's very nice.
He's very nice? He's
Yes, he is.
nice, Jim.
He saved my son's life before.
Saved your son's life?
Yes, he did.
How?
In my swimming pool.
In your swimming pool? Is that where he got that nasal problem? What, did you have too much chlorine in there or something and the water went up inside his nose?
Okay. I don't think he has a nasal problem. He's a nice man.
He does have a nasal problem. Can't you hear that voice of his? Sounds like he's pinching his nose when he talks on the phone.
Well, he wants to talk to you, so I'll be going.
Oh, okay. Bye, Jim.
Well, Bobby boy, I'm going to get you.
See, it's the same guy. You don't have any friends. You have no friends at all. What a sad, pathetic thing it is that you sit home at night, you call up a talk radio station, And you fib about having friends.
You know, Bobby boy.
You're the most pathetic person I've ever met. I feel sorry for you.
Bobby boy, when you are on the street, sitting on the sidewalk, I'm going to come up.
Poor man sits at home at night, has nothing, all by himself, has nothing to do but pinch his nose and call up my show, and worse than that, pretends to be somebody else who's a friend of his.
I'm going to approach you with all my...
Why don't you get a teddy bear at least? Do you have a teddy bear that you can talk to? Do you have a teddy bear that you can talk to?
Want you with all my friends.
You don't have any friends. If you had friends, they'd be over at your house tonight. They'd be drinking beer and eating pretzels and having a good time.
Bobby boy, the 432 signatures are my friends.
Right.
Bobby boy.
Well, why aren't your friends over at your house tonight eating beer and drinking pretzels and sending out for pizzas?
Right now.
Watching, movies and things like that, like most normal guys your age have. Why? I'll tell you why, because you're a jerk.
You know, the word jerk is too nice a name for you, Bobby boy.
Well, it is, but that's besides the point.
When you're sitting on the sidewalk,
But I get paid to do this. I get paid to do that. I have friends.
I'm going to come up to you, Bobby boy. I'm going to come up to you with all my friends, and you're going to see my friends. And I'm going to show you their signatures on the petition while you're sitting on the street, Bobby boy.
I feel so sorry. You have no friends. Hey, God, the door just opened. Here come some of my friends. Hi, friends. Hey. You see, I got a studio full of friends. Oh, right. You guys got the pizzas and everything?
Numbers that put you on the air at WPLP are in Hillsborough County, 224-00.
I disagree with everything you say, Bob.
.37 the time. You guys still have no idea why this is happening, do you? It has completely escaped you, hasn't it? Ah, what a dumb audience. Tampa, hi, you're on the air at WPLP.
Big Bob.
Yes?
I understand I was banned some time back.
Well, that's true, Lionel. But the ban was lifted.
Oh. Remember the old expression, what if they gave a war and nobody came? What if they banned you and you never called anyway? But anyway,
But you did, Lionel.
No end.
You did, Lionel, let's be honest about it. You called several times after you were banned, and Michael shot you down.
Who's Michael?
You know who Michael is.
No, who is Michael?
My producer.
Lover?
Yes, he's also my lover, but he's my producer as well.
What was this about you and anal sex the other night?
I don't know anybody named Anal Sex.
No, that's near Pluto, I think. It's in Alpha Centauri. No.
I do know a guy named Pluto.
Well, Bob, how was...
But I've never had anal sex with him.
How was the wedding? Speaking of anal sex...
The wedding was great.
Did you get any?
A little bit, not much, but, enough. Enough.
That's tremendous.
At least, the cabin was nice, and
Let me ask
the scenery
you
was pretty.
What does it feel like now that, in the past couple of, 6 months, there's been an inordinate interest in talk show radio across the country? What with Howard Stern and Neil Rogers and those sort of things.
Uh-huh.
What does it feel like paling by comparison or in comparison to them?
Oh, Lionel, give me a break. Have you ever heard Howard Stern? I'm 10 times better than Stern.
On your most... Now, let's talk about obscenities per hour. Some type of a fixed ratio or something.
What do you mean obscenities per hour? Already this hour I've had... Wait a second. Already, you want to talk about obscenities per hour? Already this hour I've had Rocky on. I've had the Petition Man and you.
You act like these people have names. Rocky? Who is Rocky?
What do you mean, who is Rocky? Rocky is a star. Rocky is known throughout... Rocky has a higher name recognition than most of the talk show hosts in this community.
Especially at your station.
Oh, bull, at the other station, too. He calls Gonzalez, and Gonzalez goes gaga. Oh, it's one of Lassiter's callers calling me. Finally, I've made it. I've made it. Hello, Rocky.
Who says that?
Gonzalez.
You are so jealous of Gonzalez that it's pathetic.
Well, that's true.
WFLA 970 AM more credit, more airtime, more advertising than they themselves do.
That's true.
Do you know what they do?
I'm very jealous of Paul.
Do you know what they do at PLP? They ignore you people. They ignore you.
Well, no, sometimes they call us plop.
Or Static...
but I call them Radio Fa-La-La.
Static 57.
Well, yeah, that too.
But, Bob, we're acting like we're enemies, and we're not enemies.
Oh, no.
We're good friends, aren't we?
Yes, we are, Lionel.
When are you going to share your wife with me? If you're really as hip as you say.
Well, Lionel, I'm all for it, but Mary said no.
Little Mary Turner, she sounds so sweet.
Oh, she does.
She's probably a dynamo. Have you ever walked in nude with a pair of chaps on and a martini glass and yelled, Lafayette, I've arrived?
Well,
try that.
Something close to that. Close enough.
Try that.
Close enough.
Bob, you know, this is a tremendous...
Well, the other night I went home and she was there in the buff playing the accordion. I immediately...
Lady of Spain,
I immediately stripped off my clothes, jumped up on the dining room table.
Let's face it, Bob, when you take your clothes off...
I grabbed the plant that we have on the dining room table and I clutched it to my tender parts. Unfortunately, it was an aloe plant.
Now, Bob, you're walking all over me. You are a big guy.
Yes, I am.
A lot of people think that, they call you faggot, but they've never seen you before.
That's true.
You look like a big compost pile. You're huge.
Yes.
You're a behemoth.
Compost
You're gargantuan. But... is your wife, your bride, as large as you are?
Oh, grief. Now, you think I'd marry a porker like that?
Well, here's what I'm saying. Think against a missionary. You'll kill her. Honestly, that's the first thing I thought. This woman had better be tough. She'd better have a spine that... By the way, speaking of rectal polyps, when's Yoki coming back on your show?
When is Yoki? I don't think Yoki will ever do this show again.
Yoki doesn't even listen to your damn show.
Oh, sure he does. He would miss it.
He hasn't a clue. Do you think...
Are you kidding? Yoki always listens. Yoki's listening to the show right now.
What?
I'll bet you a nickel Yoki's listening. Yoki, if you're listening, call the hotline, please.
Put me on with Yoki again. I want a piece of him. I want to break it off in him. You know that? Because he's responsible for things like Ask the Attorney... all this crap on the weekend.
Tim Williams is responsible for Ask the Attorney.
Who's responsible?
Tim Williams.
Now, you probably think that guy in Palm Bay was crazy.
The guy in Palm Bay was... Oh, the terrorist?
Yoki makes him look like Ayn Rand. You know what I mean? Yoki is responsible for some of the most abysmal programming. And who was the one who knocked Coles off until the weekend? Who thought of that? How dare you?
I think it was the receptionist.
How dare you take a man...
The receptionist makes out all of the schedules here.
Bob, why do you do that? You mumble in...
It started one day, the phones were a little slow. Yoki came out and said, "Don't you have anything else to do? Here, work on this." And unfortunately, he threw the schedule down in front of her. And she started rearranging it.
That's what you told your wife, too. Work on this. Bob, why are you so hostile to me?
Hostile? I'm not hostile.
I could make you a star. Do you realize...
Whoa, Lionel. You could make me a star.
No, take that back. I could be a star.
Yes, you could if I'd let you on the show more often.
Oh,
well. The stars I have made in this town.
So bad.
There's Rocky, the rock and roll Klansman. There's Southside Johnny, the dope dealer. There's the Brandon Brain lady. I've made all of these people, Lionel. These were all obscure callers that other talk show hosts used to hang up on. But no, I saw the value in these callers.
Hang up or ban, right? Ban. Do you know what it is when a talk show host bans a caller? That means that's capitulation. That's giving in. That's no backbone. That's wimpism to the nth degree. That is faggotism. I was surprised by you when you did that. It was terrible because I didn't even know I was banned. But when I found out, I became incensed.
Oh, Lionel, you do know that you were banned.
Moi? I had to talk to Carolyn to find out what the hell is going on. Did you know that? I had to go out into the field, for crying out loud, to find out what the hell is going on.
What was Carolyn doing out in the field?
Waiting for you to come up on the horse. By the way, have you seen Shoah? Are you taping Shoah?
How the hell can I see Shoah? I work at night.
Taping, putz. Read my lips. Taping. Are you taping the show?
No, I'm not taping the show.
Let me tell you, they made a big deal of...
Mary sits at home at night when I'm working and watches XXX rated movies. I can't tape.
With a large black man named Lewis. Let me ask you something. You know, the show was heralded as being...
Well, wait a second. I've got to go back and correct something I just said. She does not sit home watching XXX rated movies. She sits home and watches Art Van Dam, how to play the accordion videotapes.
That's wonderful. Shoah. I watched a little bit of that. There was a scene with a Polish guy talking to a French person who translated Polish into French, and then he had to read the English subtitle. This is not a movie for dyslexics, let me tell you. It was awful, though. It was an awful movie. I think everybody should see it, including you. Why don't you shut down, play the Eagles, and get the hell out, go home and watch something and learn something. Learn something. If you
and miss out on all this fun I'm having tonight?
Do you realize if you and everybody at PLP closed your show down, just turned off the power and went home for a week and a half, nobody'd know the difference?
Oh, I beg your pardon. People would miss me.
Hey, Lionel, I'm top banana, baby. I am top banana in this town.
How much do you make a year, Bob? Be honest.
About $8,400.
Huh?
About $8,400.
$8,400 a year.
Yeah.
Come on.
But that's only because I cut lawns on Saturday and Sunday.
Be real.
Just from the station, $6,200.
This is a springboard for you. Yoki doesn't have the money.
Well, that's for sure.
Come on, get out. How much do you pay? You're supposed to be Mr. Honest. Tell us how much you make a year. After all, we help you make that.
Well, actually, you guys don't help me make it.
Oh,
I'd make more if you help.
Good. Okay, you people...
Are you going to join the 570 Club?
You heard that at home? Yeah, the old people too. You know, you talk a lot of crap about the old people, but I'll tell you one thing: the reason they're old is because
they've lived so long.
They're not fat, huge. They're not whale-like. They don't smoke a lot of cigarettes, and they live a long time. That's why they're old. You will never join them. You will be doing something, playing racquetball, maybe in a couple of years.
Man, just because I banned him for a couple of months.
You'll feel a pain start in your groin and radiate up your arm, and you're going to be dropped dead like a mackerel.
Funny, I noticed a pain starting in my groin and radiating up my left arm about 10 minutes and 10 seconds ago.
Well, call Mary. I'll take over the show, put the calls through me, and run home. Run home to your ramshackle little apartment with a light bulb that hangs from the string, and go and call your big buddy Dave.
Yo, whoa, Lionel. If you thought for a second that I was going to turn over the kind of calls I'm getting tonight to you, you are crazy.
That's right. Why spoil
it? You should have called one night last week when I couldn't buy one.
Why spoil it?
But tonight I've got a full board. I've got these great calls.
I could destroy you.
I'm going to send this tape to New York, and they're going to fire Howard Stern, and I'm going to get the $1 million a year job. Stern can't. Have you ever heard Stern?
You out of the water.
Have you ever heard Howard Stern? $1 million a year. The little guy comes in and he talks like this.
You are jealous.
And he says things like weenie.
You are
and
jealous.
Everybody goes, oh, God, isn't he great?
Jealous.
He's so original. Howard said weenie.
Person. You are a big, baby, jealous person who smokes like a fiend and should be slapped silly for that.
I don't smoke like a fiend. I smoke like a Parisian.
Yeah, like a queerbait. You hold it in that inverted German, Parisian, Viennese. You say vel, what do you want? Let me tell you something. You take us for granted. You think we're going to be around for the rest of your life.
Hey, Lionel, there's nothing like this in this town. And if you guys want exciting talk radio, you've got no other place to go.
Who doesn't?
You, the audience. The audience. There's nothing else like this in town.
No, and there's nothing like a colonoscopy either. But I don't really care for that.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's go down the list. You've got... Hi, my name's Jack Ellery. Send me some money for anything, any cause. I'll give it to a good cause.
Pathetic. You know that? Seriously.
Mr. Green Thumb with his Battle of the Begonias on the weekends.
Rule number one, forget your competition. How many times do I have to...
I don't have any competition.
Some spy for FLA?
I don't have any competition.
Why don't you talk about WSUN or GTO or one of those other hick stations? Give them credit, too. If I were Yoki, I'd go in and slap the hell out of you. I'd say, what are you talking about the other people for?
He tried the other day, but I snapped his suspenders.
Yoki sounds
running down the hall hollering, oh, Lassiter slapped my suspenders. Oh, what's up?
Describe what Yoki looks like. Is he a little wimp? Because you'd kill him. It's true. You sit on him and you kill him. You're a big guy.
Oh, Yoki's about 6'4", weighs about 280.
Sure. How tall are you, Bob?
6'2".
6'2"? You look a lot taller than that. How much do you weigh in stone, please?
In stone? Well, 1 second here.
How much is a stone, by the way?
I weigh approximately 18 stone.
Oh, my gosh. You weigh as much as Cleveland. You're tremendous.
Cleveland Wheeler?
That's the guy.
You a porker, too?
You beg to be Cleveland Wheeler. And
oh, give me a break.
He makes
I don't like running from the cops in the middle of the night.
He makes more money in 1 minute than you make in 6 months.
Well, that may be true.
Now, Bob, you're going to hear the truth now. And this is to you, to Fowler, to the new turd. What the hell's his name? The guy who replaced Coles.
No one could replace Tim Coles.
And then Eastman, all these guys. You all are losers. You understand what I'm saying? You are losers. This is funny. Watching you, listening to you is like listening to an anachronism.
But Lionel, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe I am a loser. But Lionel, at least I'm getting paid to talk to you. How much are we giving you to talk to me?
Oh, nothing. No, that's true.
You want to talk about losers, Lionel.
That's true. And you better thank God for people like me who brighten the hell out
What do you mean, thank God for people like you? What are you, a Nielsen family or something?
You, Bob, and I love you to death. You know, I want you to take this...
Well, of course, I'm the best there is. You don't have to love me.
Take this in the spirit it's given. You're a loser, okay? Your whole show. You're in a swamp. You're trying to come to Tampa and hit it big. The other people are going to kill you. PLP, I'll give it 6 more months.
I didn't come to Tampa to hit it big. I came to Tampa because I blew it in the big time and I had to hide out for a while.
You were what, Miami?
Yes.
At a country and western station?
No. Originally, when I went to Miami, that's what I was doing. But no, I was on INZ in Miami, man. INZ.
Who was the genius to hide?
And I blew it.
Country and western.
Who was the genius?
Who was
what was his name? God, I can't remember the guy. Don something or other. His name was Don... I can't remember his last name. I think he's out of the business now, selling shoes or something.
While you're being tangential, let me ask you another question.
Whoa, wait a second. Let me check the list here.
Why don't you ever
that word's okay.
Why don't you ever get these people who answer the phone, who are the loser underneath the loser, if you can imagine that. I mean, these guys answer the phone for a loser. What does that make them? Who knows? Why don't you give these guys a break? They're the ones who take all the crap. They're the ones who are really snippy and snotty. Put them on here. Let me get a hold of Mike Sirio on the phone. I want to get...
Lionel, if you want a gig, man, you got to send a tape and a resume to the PD.
Send this tape, okay? And you know what I'm doing now? Right here with your tape. Why don't you give these poor guys a shot? When you were begging...
Lionel, that's what I get paid for. I give everybody shots.
When you were begging me to come on and replace you...
Lionel, whoa. Begging you to replace me, Lionel? I wasn't begging you to replace me, Lionel. I was calling your bluff.
Oh, okay, whatever. Well, whatever makes you happy.
Give me a break.
Why didn't you give somebody like Mike Sirio...
Lionel, you're not man enough to hold my mic.
This is great. This is like the old Graziano speech. Bob, I say it again with all the love and respect in the world.
I know, you constantly repeat yourself.
You're a loser. Get these poor schmucks on like Sirio and those guys. They're losers too. Give them a chance. Everybody within the sound of my voice, write a letter.
Sure, you want a patsy that you can call up and push around. You don't want to have to, confront a great talent like myself.
Oh, you're the...
Of course you want people on like Michael Serial.
Great talents who ban people. That's wonderful. You make your living saying, hit me with your best shot, America, and you ban people. That's tremendous. What if, for example, Marvin Hagler or Sugar Ray Leonard banned their opponents? How unfair this is.
But you're not my opponent.
But anyway,
you're not in the same league with me, Lionel.
I am everything you've always wanted to be.
You sit home and contemplate for days on end.